So, no, those guys, their status hasn't changed. They won't be available tonight. Rusty and Zuck will be game time decisions. I think that's it.
How about, is there any status update on Drew O'Connor? You know, took the maintenance day yesterday, wasn't there?
Yeah, Drew is not going to be available tonight. We're going to evaluate him further when we get back to Pittsburgh.
Mike, are there any particular perils associated with the last game of a long trip? Any challenges?
Well, every night's a challenge. That's just the nature of the sport. I'm not sure if it's any different, whether it's the last game on the trip or the first game on the trip. For me, it's a challenge. We're playing against one of the best teams in the league tonight. It's going to be a big challenge in and of itself, playing against a real good opponent. I think the biggest challenge for us is just trying to recapture the game that's brought us success most consistently this year. We feel as though as a group we've gotten away from it in the last couple of games. It didn't hurt us in San Jose, but it's a great learning opportunity for us to make sure that we have the ability to recapture the game that makes us hard to play against and gives us the best chance to win. And I think that's the opportunity we have tonight.
Like we were talking in the stands, I think you guys have 7 or 8 guys in your lineup that have played center for you at some point. I mean, what advantage does that give you from a versatility standpoint when you have that many capable guys up and down your lineup?
Well, it gives us a huge advantage. You know, I know that when we talk in the off season just about what the roster is going to look like, versatility is an attribute that we value. And so some of these guys that Hexie signed, I think help us bring that versatility. Erod, for example, you know, he can play the wing, he can play center, he can play up and down the lineup. The versatility, I think, especially in the environment that we're playing in right now, with respect to COVID, and some nights you just don't know who you're going to have available to put in the lineup. So to have the versatility to be able to adapt and react to those unforeseen circumstances when somebody tests positive, it just gives us the ability to put a lineup on the ice that's competitive, because we have the amount of guys that we do that can play multiple positions.
Like, as a guy who spent some time with an expansion team that had its challenges early on, what do you make of Vegas and the success it's had, like right from day one?
Well, it's impressive. You know, it's impressive. I think, you know, obviously the rules were very different in those days than they are today with some of these expansion teams. But you have to give Vegas credit, because they did a great job with constructing their roster, and they were competitive right from the drop of the very first puck. You know, this is one of the more competitive teams in the league. They've got a deep lineup. I don't know that there's a weakness to their game. They're a very good team off the rush in particular, and their defense are a big part of that. But they've had an impressive first couple of years here, and they've established themselves as one of the more competitive organizations in the league right now.
Mike, just to piggyback a little bit off the question Josh asked you about the centers, this could be the first game that you have all 4 of your regular centers in the lineup. You know, you talked recently about the 1-2 punch of Crosby, Malkin. Now to back them up with Carter and Bluger, what benefit does that give you, and what kind of challenge do you think that is for an opponent?
Well, I just think the depth at the center ice position is so critically important to being competitive in this league, and when we have the full complement of centers that we envisioned we'd have before the season started, we feel as though we feel really comfortable with those guys down the middle. And we have size, we have offensive capability, we have defensive capability. We can utilize guys in different roles, and so that's what we had envisioned in the off season. It's taken a long time for us to get here, but we're certainly excited about the potential moving forward with what we have and the capability we have down the middle.
What about Jake Gensel? You know, he's going to be relying on fan vote to get into the All-Star game. Is he a guy that might go overlooked, you know, based on the other stars that you have on your team?
sometimes I think Jake flies under the radar, but, you know, he's consistently scored goals in the league, since he's come into the league. And, so I don't know how, at some point, I think, and maybe we're there, the hockey world is recognizing how good a player he is. We know it, inside our room because we see him every day. But he is quietly emerging as one of the superstars in the league. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league, in my opinion. He scored an awful lot of goals. You know, playing with Sid, those guys have, you know, have had instant chemistry, and that chemistry has been there, you know, throughout the time, and that's why we've kept them together, quite honestly. But I think he's one of the better goal scorers in the league. I think he's quietly emerged as one of the superstars in the league.
Who's your goaltender tonight?
Tristan.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.